having had the opportunity to leave, why did you come back?
Well, I did say while I was being tried and suppressed and oppressed that I would never leave Nigeria under any circumstance. And I will only live on my own terms and come back on my own terms. And I've said repeatedly that I could have left if I wanted, even though my passports were seized. I knew all the routes to get out of this country. I used to help people get in and out of Nigeria through what we call the Nadeco routes. But this time around, I said I wasn't going anywhere.
Well, I hope they're not going to come after you for saying you helped people get in and out.
Because the person who is president of Nigeria today
used
to pass through that route himself.
That was
that was how he left Nigeria.
During military rule.
So he's a very is one of the people who uses that route. So and they couldn't close it after they started coming through the legal routes. But I don't do that anymore either. I come in and out through what they call illegal routes. That's why I waited for my passport to be returned to me, because it was my property. And when I left, I decided to come back, which was a promise I made that I'll be back.
Well, I'm sure your supporters will be very glad to see that you're back. Well, let's return to you.
Yes.
Are you going to run again for president in 2027?
So let me give you a cliche. I never stopped running, even after the 2018-2019 election. But that is not to say that I will be running perpetually for office. My goal is to make this country work in my lifetime.
And do you have a master plan to achieve that goal?
I have made it public. I was the first person to bring a digital master plan to bear on Nigeria. Even, and this I can provide, even the so-called coastal highway, I was the first person to talk about it from in 2018 when I visited Badagry for a town hall meeting. But mine was supposed to start from Badagry to Calabar and eventually to go from there to Senegal, because I believe in the unity of the African continent.
So you support that coastal highway?
Well, I don't support the one they are building now. because
but you support the one that you want to build?
Yes, because the one they are building now is the Eco-Atlantic outlet.
Right.
Yes, and I would predict here today, the coastal highway they are building is probably going to end up at the Dangote refinery, because it's meant for transporting high-level workers from the Eco-Atlantic to the refinery and back. After that, you would never hear about the coastal highway again, because that's the design. And I don't know why journalists haven't asked for us to have the real full master plan. It makes it sound today that the coastal highway is only about, what's that place they're demolishing there?
The landmark.
The landmark.
Yeah.
No. The coastal highways, we're supposed to have a model that is shown to us on TV every day. This is the digital model.
Well, in fairness, they've shown a route.
A route is not, I'm talking about a model on where we pass, But now we only have, they said they're only doing 47 kilometers. Now don't forget that the people who are building the coastal highway, the high-tech people, also had promised to build highways from Lagos to Ekpe, and they've been doing it for probably 20 years since Tinubu came to power. Never got past the state. That's why I'm saying this is a 47-kilometer highway meant to just provide an outlet for the Bundungu they're building called the Eco-Atlantic. Because how was it that people were going to come in there and bring 300,000 people and there's no any other outlet? So the coastal highway now is going to be built by Nigeria for a private investor, real estate investor. That's what it is about. So this is not the coastal highway that I wanted to build.
Well, we'll have to see what happens there. Yeah. But we're almost out of time, and it's an absolute delight to have you here. But you called for revolution now.
Yes.
That was one of the reasons you were charged with treason.
That's right.
But should it be about revolution or about reform? I mean, there's a difference there, isn't there?
Why I was calling for revolution is that I spent 2 years at Columbia University in New York, an Ivy League school.
That's a very good school.
Yes, one of the best 10 in the U.S. Yeah. And most people have never heard this about me before. And part of the reason I attended Columbia University was because they were calling me layabout at the University of Lagos because I was an activist. And I went to one of the best schools in the world. And I know what reforms are about, from the World Bank, from the internet. And Nigeria's case has gone beyond reform. Only a revolution can address the issue. But guess what? The revolution used to be a taboo word in 2019 when I was using it. Now it's freely used. Everybody is calling for a revolution, including those who were opposed to it in 2019. It's beyond me, but I would say this because it's important for the public, that revolutions that are supposed to happen will happen no matter how long it will take. You can only suppress people only for a time. But the Nigerian revolution is building up. You know, what builds up a revolution are the ingredients you have in place. And suppress of ethnic groups, suppress of free speech, journalists, taxation without responsibility, you know. And I wanted to say about landmark that I was aware that they're not demolishing landmark just because they want to build a road. They had been targeting the landmark guy even before now. They refused to let him have a water corporation land that he wanted to build part of, you know, because they said, oh, we are too powerful here. You know, these are things that have been going on for a long time. So it is not by accident that they are demolishing the place. There are connotations to it. And I'm saying it publicly here.
Right.
Yes.
So basically, broadly speaking, we're out of time, but just very briefly.
Broadly speaking,
the approaching storm is still approaching.
Oh yes, it's just a matter of time. And it's going to happen whether I lead it or not. It's just a matter of time. It's a ticking bomb because you cannot hold people to ransom for this long and you will not be suffering consequences for it. It's going to blow up in their faces. It's a matter of time. You heard it from me and you can arrest me after I said it, but that would not stop the revolution.